Welcome. Welcome back, guys, or welcome to Move It or Lose It. So, we are going to be working on our joint stability today. So, let me know you're here. I don't know when we can get started. If you're not warmed up and this is the first class you're doing, start moving your joints a tiny bit. Takes me a while to find myself, so. Okay. Hey, Jackie and Diane. I'm just going to tag Elaine and Carol. Oop. Oop. Damn, this phone wants to be a pain in my butt. So, what do you need today? What do you need today? You need some kind of weight. It's a little tiny bit heavy. Your band, you might need your long band, and you might need your ball. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Didn't turn the volume off. Damn it. Trying so hard to tag, and this just keeps repeating the word and letting me send it. There we go. Hopefully that worked. Welcome back, Carol. Carol C, Carol W. Which would you prefer? Got a couple Carols. Okay, guys. We're going to start with feet. Okay. So let's just get those ankles moving a little tiny bit. So nice circles with your ankles. In case I forget to tell you, 12:30, you can tune in to Stretching with Ashley afterwards. Other direction. Perfect. A little bit of up and down. Let's bring those feet flat on the ground. And we're going to work on our plantar flexion and our dorsiflexion. So dorsiflexion is toes up, heel on the ground. Plantar flexion is toes down, heels up, nice and straight. Okay, so come up and down. I want the feet on the ground today, so you're not just out here doing that like you normally are. I want it to respond in this alignment. I'm going to start to go opposites. So one foot is toe up, the other is heel up. Okay, and just flip, 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 flip. Okay, and then I'm just going to swing our legs a little tiny bit for the knees. Hey, Liz. Okay, let's start with one foot at a time. So we're going to start with that right foot. And what you're going to do today is dorsiflect your foot. So bring those toes upwards towards your shin. Okay. And then in that dorsiflexion, try to curl your toes. Okay. You're really going to feel a pull. It's a little bit different than when you're just relaxed and you're doing this. Okay. So we're just increasing it a little bit more. So dorsiflect, curl, curl. If you're getting a little crampy, just come out of it for a second. Okay, try the other side. So dorsiflect first and then curl. Do you have one that's different? Okay, now what you're going to do is point. Okay, point, curl, really tight curl, and then keep that curl and pull it up, 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 pull it up all the way. Feel that? Good. Relax for a little bit. Point, curl hard, and then bring that foot up, keeping that curl. You're really going to feel that in the top of the foot into this area. Okay, perfect. Okay, relax it again. Try again. So point, curl nice and hard, and then bring that up, 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 up with that curl staying really tight. You might even lose mobility here. Perfect. Let's try the other side. Okay, so point, curl, and then lift it up. Notice you kind of lose that dorsiflexion. You can't quite get it up as much sometimes. Okay, try it again. Point and curl, and lift that curl. Lift it, lift it, lift it. Push it, push it, push it, push it, push it. Shake it off. Okay, point, curl, lift it, lift it, lift it. Okay, good. We're gonna go back to the other foot and try that a few more times. Okay, so point, curl, lift. Relax. Point, curl, lift it up there, lift it, lift it, lift it, lift it. And relax. Last one. Point, curl, lift. Good. Point, curl, lift. Nice and slow, nice and controlled. Really feel that contraction and that pull. And one last time. Okay, perfect. Feet flat down, toes up. So you're just raising all of your toes up to the sky. Keeping that big toe right here pushed down against the ground. Okay. So I'm putting a little bit of pressure. That's why I lean forward. I'm putting a little bit of pressure down into them. You're probably getting a little tired. You might be feeling it up in here. That's okay. Keep going. Okay, now let's separate. So splay your toes. Okay, so splay and relax. Again, if you want to splay your hands as well, it helps. Okay, perfect. Bring your foot up. You're going to manually move these little toesies. Okay, so starting with your big toe, circles. Feel any cracking or popping? That's perfectly fine. You can change direction if you so desire. And just move on down. And of course, if you've broken a toe or it's extremely painful, um, you don't necessarily have to hurt that. If it's just feeling like a little, ooh, that's tight, by all means, work it. Okay, take all of those toes and just give them a little tiny pull. So you're feeling that stretch in here. Just the toe. We're going to do the whole foot in a second. So I'm just worried about right here. Okay, then hang on to more of the ball of your foot with the toes. So right along here and the heel, and I'm going to pull that way. So I'm thinking about that foot being long. So I'm not too worried about pulling the foot this way into dorsiflexion. I'm more concerned about stretching that bottom of that foot. Okay. If you want to, if you feel brave enough, you take your knuckles and just work along this line. Okay, so not into this part yet, just to work along this line. Just go down. If you have plantar fasciitis, you're going to want to stay away from this area. This might even hurt too much if it's very active right now. And then start to gently work your way into that arch. How hard you push is entirely up to you. If you find any nasty little spots, just hang on to that spot. If you don't find any spots, just pull it down, stretch it farther. Okay, perfect. Let's come to the other one. Start with those circles. Change directions as needed. You could always spend extra time on anything that's not moving properly. So when I abduct my toes, this toe, he doesn't want to move over. Okay. So I might need to spend a little more time working on him. Again, working with your feet might seem silly, but I've managed to totally that Morton's neuroma, not an issue. My Achilles tendonitis in the other foot, not an issue. So the more you work with your feet, the better off you are. Okay. Start with just pulling on the toes, making sure that's not causing any pain anywhere. Just be a nice stretch. So again, remember, I'm focusing on the stretch here, not into here. And there doesn't have to be dorsiflexion there. So it doesn't have to be this way. Okay. Grab onto the balls of your foot and the heel and pull. You can start to use your knuckles if you so desire. Pull. So it's not so much I'm pushing in, I am, but I'm really trying to lengthen. Pull down. Okay. Perfect. Give those guys a little bit of a shake. I don't know why I shook my fingers there. Okay. We're going to do a little bit of bearing weight. Okay. So you want some weight. You want something fairly heavy if you can. Okay. You can keep that close to your body. You're going to bring one foot forward a tiny, tiny bit. Okay. And you're going to come up on one foot if you can. And then what you're going to do is grab your weight and bring it from side to side. See what happens with your foot? Your foot's trying to compensate, so it's going to pronate and supinate as you go. If you need to bring that other toe down, if it's a balance issue, that's fine. That works too. The farther you put that weight out to the side, the more your foot is going to try to possibly roll in this way, and you're going to keep it flat. Come over here. It's going to want to roll out. You're going to try to keep it flat. If you want to wake up your proprioceptors a little bit, do that with your eyes closed. Perfect. Let's do the other side. So if your weight isn't heavy enough, you probably won't feel anything in your feet. Okay. You want something a little bit heavy. Okay, get yourself there in the right position. Come up if you can. I don't think I can on this side anymore. And go side to side. If you want heavier weights, guys, and you have these babies, you fill them up with rocks. I'm going to do a video, but basically you cut the top out, you fill it up with rocks. Or sand, dirt. If you don't want it quite so heavy, close your eyes if you want. I can't even bring this foot up without falling over anymore. Just play around with it a little bit. Where do you find your weakness? Is it always on that one side? Then just go to that one side. Okay. You might find that as you're coming to this opposite side, so my right hand, left foot, that my arch is going, what are you doing? It's good. It needs to be worked. It needs to be stronger. Okay. Good job. You can put your weight down. And we're going to do some circles. So a little bit of proprioceptor work. Okay, so standing nice and tall, you're an absolute stiff board. Your chin is slightly tucked. You have perfect posture. And you're going to start to do a little bit of circling. So focus somewhere on the wall in front of you. And circle. Feel those feet working. And try the other direction. Remember that if you're really struggling, you can't do that in that position. You can go a little bit wider if you have to start off with. But eventually you want to be nice and narrow if you can. You can see that it's harder and harder as you get narrow. Okay, perfect. Okay, hang on to something if you need to. We're going to work on the knees a tiny bit. So we're going to start with just bringing one leg slightly off the ground, and you're just going to swing. Okay, so from the knee. So straighten and bend. At first start small and then work that up. Work through the full range of motion. Look for any pain here. Okay, do you have a little bit of pain right in here? Do you need to find that location and slowly do some circles and release that? Do you feel pain under here? Do you need to hang on to that a little tiny bit sitting on a chair while you're straightening and bending your leg? Do you need to release that? Or is it all good? Okay. Then we're going to go from here and swing side to side. Okay, remembering there's not a lot of hip action here. The tendency is to want to do this. Okay, that's coming from the hip. I want this to stay relatively still and just let the knee swing. And yes, we are working that other hip if you're curious. You should be feeling that. Turn that into a bit of a circle. Don't worry, I'm going to give that hip a rest soon. Try the other direction with that circle. Okay, good. Switch sides. So that's a good one to do while you're doing the back and forth right now. It's a good one to do just sitting on a chair, especially if your chair is nice and long, and you just rock. You just make little circles. You rock back and forth. You can go in and out. Something you see a lot of kids naturally doing. Look at kids sitting on the edge of a pool, and they're naturally going to be doing things like this. Okay, so if you need to sit down right now, you can do that too. But I'd rather you get that hip work. Okay, so we're on the straightening and bending. A couple more of those. Okay, then you're going to go into the little side to side, letting it happen at the knee the best that you can. And then change that into a circle. Other direction. Okay, perfect. So we're going to, it's not really a lunge, but you're going to lunge forward, okay, as if you were reaching something. So as if you needed to reach over for something like that, but you were going to bring yourself forward, okay, and back. So you just simply bringing one foot forward, making sure you're solid on this foot, and then reaching forward, okay, and then as you come back out of that, push yourself out of that with your foot, okay. So reach forward. So I'm putting a little bit of stress in the knee, but how much stress I put into that knee is totally up to you. Okay. So I'm not trying to hurt my knee. I'm trying to be solid with my foot. Remembering that if I go into the toes like that, keep going. If you go into the toes like that, that is not healthy for the knee. You need that heel on the ground. So if you don't have dorsiflexion, right, that ability to lift that foot, it's going to be really hard for you. So come forward and back. Reach out and back. Control, please. Reach and back. Try to make sure that your toes are both, or your feet are both pointed forward. Try to keep yourself balanced. Okay, let's switch sides. Try that out with that knee, see what it can handle. So start small, and then you can widen depending on what your knee can handle. Okay, now what you're going to do, and you can hang on to something if you need to, you're going to come into that little bit of that lunge, just like as you were going forward into that, and then you're going to make circles with the knee. Okay, so you're going to let that knee actually change. So I'm always, line up, line up, line up. We're going to play with that knee a little tiny bit. Okay, so just circles to start with. And once you're comfortable with that, you're going to take that circle to a straight circle, straight, circle, straight. Okay. And then try changing directions. How much weight forward you put into that knee is entirely up to you. The more you push, the stronger it will get, but you will also risk maybe flaring something up if you have some issues. So take it easy. Start to learn to push it a little bit more and more and more. You're going nice and slow, so you are in control of the movement. You can get out of this and go, nope, at any time. Perfect. Let's try the other side a little bit. Okay. So go into that forward. I'm about to lunge somewhere. Get that foot down nice and firm. Start with just the forward part. Small circles. And then we're going to straighten it up in a second. You just need to be able to handle this first. Once you know you can handle that, come up and straighten. And change directions. And again, as always, feel what you're feeling. Where are your issues? Are they in the middle part in here? Is it a release thing or is it a weakness thing? Is it in the patella tendon underneath? Is it behind the kneecap? Perfect. Come on down to the ground. And we're going to work on our hip mobility a little tiny bit. Hey, Chris and Wayne. Hey, sis. Penny, you popped up on there. Just saw you. Okay. So mobility of the hips. The first thing we're going to do, if you weren't with me this morning, is some pelvic tilts. So up and down, rotating from the hips, flattening the back out, rotating from the hips, rotate, flat, not flat, flat, not flat. Perfect. Then we're going to put our feet together if you can and drop those knees to the side. Remembering that you have the option at home of putting pillows or anything you want under there if it's uncomfortable at all. Make sure that it doesn't cause your pelvis to come up and tilt and your back come off the ground. Nice straight pelvis, please. Okay, you're going to come up, you're going to straighten your legs down. Okay, keep your back comfortable. It's a little bit harder. Once we straighten the legs down, sometimes the pelvis wants to shift upward this way. Okay, try to keep that from happening if you can. You can also put something under your feet to raise it up a tiny bit if you need to. If it's really bothering you, don't do it. Okay, so you're going to go drop feet, bring feet together. Drop feet, bring feet together. So you're doing this with your feet. Okay, so I want it coming from the hips. So I'm going to go a little bit wider with my feet so that when I drop in, I'm getting that internal rotation of my hips. Okay, external rotation, internal rotation, external rotation, internal rotation, If it's really irritating my back, I'm going to do one at a time. I'm going to bring up that knee, and I'm just going to work on the one side of the hip for a while. And then I would switch sides. Okay, so that's an option for you if this is uncomfortable on your back and you can't control your pelvis. And sometimes it's just that you're super tight somewhere. So see how far you can push those rotations. You're likely going to find that the inward rotation is much more difficult than the outward rotation. So feel free to focus on him a little tiny bit. Perfect. You're going to roll onto your side. Okay. That bottom leg can go wherever you're comfortable. This top leg, once you're stacked and you're nice and straight here, this top leg is just going to drop down behind you, making sure that that feels okay on your back and that you're aiming for that front pocket stretch, right? That TFL, tensor fascia latte, just right in there. Okay, again, if you're laying on something that really hurts, that's your bursa. You have two main ones that you're going to feel there. You can cheat a little bit and roll just off of it. You're just going to need to push your leg back a little bit farther and make sure that your back is happy and that your pelvis is in a nice straight lined position. We're going to hang out here for a little while, releasing that muscle. Hey, Laura. Hope you're doing well. Miss seeing you and your mom at the gym. So you might be able to find that you can go a little deeper even. You can push that forward a tiny bit and really get that stretch in that area over that bone. Okay. And then before we stretch the other side, you're just going to come up into that clam position. Okay. And you're going to go clam, down, windshield wiper, down, clam, windshield wiper. Remembering when I'm trying to really work on that windshield wiper coming up high, but I'm not going to roll forward so that it comes up high, right? My hip is locked and wherever I can go is where I can go. But I'm really trying to work on that rotation there. Okay. Up. So I'm not worried about focusing on what this muscle is doing for now. I'm really worried about that rotation. Okay, perfect. Let's hit the other side. You can roll over, flip over, whatever works for you. start with back. Find that front pocket. Make sure your back is happy doing that. If you guys have any questions, you can message me here or text me, and then I won't call you out. Okay. Come up, clam, windshield. Concentrating on the rotation of the hip. Okay, perfect. Just roll onto your stomach. You're going to try to relax. Hey, Shelly. You're going to try to relax your hamstrings as you bring those heels up. Keep your toes relaxed, your feet relaxed, and then push your pelvis into the ground. So you're looking for a very gentle stretch of the hip flexors into your quads. Okay, perfect. You want to grab your band and your little ball, please. If you have a loop band, grab that instead of your big one. If you only have a big one, grab that. So I'm going to show you both. So if you have your loop band, put it just above your knees. Okay? If all you have is this guy, tie it so that you have a loop. Okay? So I'm going to put this guy right above my knees, and I'm going to have my ball nearby. If you don't feel this exercise, you need a second band. Okay, so you're going to start with just holding on to the ball. Get your feet into a position so that you can come up in a bridge. Okay, so you're going to come up in a bridge, and then you're going to come out using those hip muscles, and then in, and then down. So there's 4 movements. It's up, out, in, down. When you come up, you feel the glutes maximus, this big guy down here. When you come out, you feel the medius. Okay, and then back and down. Let's try that 10 times if we can. Okay, so really focus on the hips doing the work. Push through the feet to come up, hips, and down. Glutes, glutes medius, and down. Glutes maximus, glutes medius, in and down. Make sure it's not hurting your back at all. Use your core. Perfect. You're going to put that ball in between your legs. Okay, and you're going to squeeze that ball really, 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 really hard and release. If you want some more bum work, you're going to come up, squeeze, release, down. If you did boot camp and stuff and your bum's still really sore from yesterday, let's just do the squeeze. Okay, so squeeze at the knees, feel that inner thigh contraction right up into your groin, hopefully, and release. Make sure your pelvis is nice and flat. Squeeze and release. Two more. Okay, hang on to that ball. We do another set of the bridges with abduction. So up, out, in, down. Push through the feet. Use your core. One more for good measure. Ball back. And squeeze. And release. You're squeezing hard, guys. One more. Perfect. You can get rid of that band. Okay, let's work on the shoulders. So if your shoulder can handle it, come up as if you were like a clock and you're in the center of the clock here. Okay, you're going to bring your arm up on the clock, at about 2 o'clock. Drop it down if you can. Okay, you're going to come back up to the center of the clock. You're going to drop it down to 2 o'clock if you can. Bring it up to the center. 2 o'clock. Perfect. Come up to the center. See if you can go to the opposite to about 7 o'clock. Okay, you're obviously not going to hit the ground there. And then back to 2 o'clock. 7 or 8, whatever it might be. 2 o'clock. So you're just doing a nice diagonal. Make sure you have control of that shoulder. Okay. Put your arm in the center, go down to 3 o'clock, go over to 6 o'clock. No, 9 o'clock. 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. 3 o'clock. You can bend that elbow right there. 3, straight, right at the center, bend it down. Straighten, bend. Perfect. Let's try the other arm. So start in the center of your great big clock that's up on your ceiling, and we're going to go up to about 10 o'clock. See if you could drop it. If you can only drop it to here, that's fine. And come up to the center. Drop it down, nice and controlled. Feel that pull right there. And up. Yeah. Now we're going to try to do 10 o'clock to 4 or 5 o'clock. We're keeping it straight. Okay, there's not an elbow bend on this one. You're controlled, especially when you're dropping that elbow down there. Stretch. Stretch. Okay, now you're going to go over to 9 o'clock. Straight arm up to the center. Then you bend the elbow to hit the 3 o'clock. Up, straight out, straight up, bend. Perfect. You can go back to the right hand or the other hand. Okay. And just balancing your ball. You're going to keep your arm absolutely straight, and we're going to protract a little bit. So drop that shoulder down so your shoulder blades all on the ground, shoulders on the ground, elbows locked. Reach up to the ceiling, drop it down. So if you've never done this, guys, I'll do it on this side so you can see. Going up, straight down, up, straight down. I'm not creating any tension up in here. Okay, so let's do that. Get that shoulder blade moving. Push with that serratus that's under your armpit. Okay, go to the other side. Reach it up, get that shoulder blade moving. Drop her down. Okay, perfect. You're going to roll onto your side. Make yourself comfy. Okay, once you're right on your side, you're going to bring that top arm out. Okay, you're going to reach, but you're not going to let your body rotate. You're going to keep your trunk still and just reach with your arm. Okay, notice when you reach with your arm, you should feel just under here a little bit, as well as your shoulder blades obviously moving, but right under here. That's your serratus. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so push it out, back, out, back, out, back. Same movement, just on your side. Okay, now we're going to take that movement, reach it out, pull it back. As you pull it back and you're in this position, okay, you are feeling that retraction. So that right shoulder blade is rotating towards the spine or towards the opposite bum. Okay, so you're going to reach it out, pull it back. Reach it out, pull it back. Really get that shoulder blade moving, guys. Keep the neck muscles relaxed. Remember, you're letting your back muscles do the work when you're pulling it back, not your arm. So you don't want to be back here with your arm or your shoulders way or your elbows way back. Okay, let the shoulder blade do the work. Okay, it's actually your rhomboids and lower traps that are doing the work, but your shoulder blade is pinching. Good. Rest that for a second. We're going to do some rotations with the rotator cuffs in this position. Then we're going to try the other side. Okay, so you're going to lock your elbow in. Okay, ball is on the ground. Bring it up to wherever you are comfortable without rotating your body or letting your elbow come away. Okay, so pin that elbow down, rotate, come down, rotate, come down. Okay. Let's flip to the other side. Okay, we're going to start with the protracting. So you're from this position, nice and straight. Reach it out. Push that out, that extra inch, making sure that it's not rotating your body. And just bring it back. Actually, we didn't the first time. We locked in, pushed, pulled. So straight elbow to start with, sorry. It's a lot harder in this position than it is lying down. You have to control the weight of your arm wanting to go down. Okay, now pull back, squeeze that shoulder blade outward. Get that mobility. Perfect. Rest for a second. We're going to do our rotations. Okay, lock that elbow in. Get it up there. If your arms are sore for yesterday, you might feel a little tight. Do the best you can. This side is screaming at me. Okay, perfect. Roll onto your back. Let's go up to that neck. Okay, you're going to put the ball under the bottom of your head. Okay. You're going to make your neck long. Shoulders drop down. And just feel that long stretch of the neck. Relax into that position. We're going to work in this for a little bit. Okay. It is important that you have the neck long before you pull. So you want that traction this way before you start to go this way a little bit. Okay. If you want to chest the stretch, if you want to stretch the chest a little bit while you're doing this, just put your arms down to the side, thumbs up that way, and just hang out there. If you want to very gently, slowly, turn your head to one side till the ball pretty much hits your ear if you can. And then slowly come back up to the center. So remember, you're trying to maintain that little tiny bit of traction. Go all the way to the other side till the ball hits your ear, the back of your ear, whatever your range of motion is. It might be farther. Because you're up in this position, it might be a little more limited. And just slowly back and forth. If you feel any spots that are really tight that you feel you need to hold, go for it. And then end with that traction straight forward, straight up in the middle that we started with. Okay, slowly bring that ball out, head flat on the ground. We're going to strengthen the front of our neck a tiny bit. Okay, so maintaining that nice straight posture, you have a little bit of traction still happening. Just lift that head up off the ground a little tiny bit till you feel the front, side, the mastoids, the scalenes, all these muscles right here really tight, tight, tight. You do this 3 times, putting it down whenever you need to. Okay, now you're going to do some chin tucks against the ground. So get your your head in the position where it's tractioned, it's nice and long. Your chin is pointing straight up to the ceiling. It's not back, it's not forward, it's straight up 90 degrees with your body. And then you're going to just push as if somebody was stepping on you. Push that skull down into the ground, feeling the muscles in the back tighten up a little tiny bit. You might feel a little bit of a stretch there. You might feel a little bit of a contraction. And you're going to do that 3 times, holding for 3 to 5, up to 10 seconds. A lot of you have been doing this for a while. You can hold a little bit longer. If you're holding for shorter periods of time, you might go up to 5 of them instead of 3 of them. We'll just spend some time doing this. Remember, you don't want to create tension in your upper traps. Okay, we're going to find that ball again, and you're going to put it back in the same position that we started with. So just lower head, just above your neck. Okay, and you're going to elongate or protraction on that neck again. And we're going to leave your neck in that nice stretch. Okay. You can stay in that position for a while if you want to. You can do whatever you would like. And you can also join Ashley. She'll be leading the stretches at 12:30. A mess. But have a lovely afternoon. Remember, I don't do classes on Friday, but Ashley does do a workout session, so feel free to, join her tomorrow. Do some cardio, do whatever you guys need. And I will see you back on Monday. See ya.